Hi guys, Amy here. I wanted to come on and record a video because a lot of people ask me about the soy yogurt that I make at home. So I thought that I would show you the process. That way you can see how I do it so you can do it too. It's actually really easy. It's a little bit of work at first, and then you kind of let your Instant Pot do the job, and 12 hours to 24 hours later you have delicious, tangy, creamy yogurt. So I thought I'd go over some of the basics that I do, um, so that you can do it too. First thing, you need an Instant Pot or a yogurt maker. My Instant Pot, this is the 8 quart. I make really big batches of food. I wish they made a 10 or 12 quart. But you can do this in the 3 quart or the 6 quart as well, as long as it has the yogurt making function, which the majority of them do. So I like to use this soy milk. I found that the texture of my yogurt comes out the nicest with it. It's plain soy milk. Let me read you the ingredients. Filtered water, whole organic soybeans. That's it. Nice, simple, no additives, no preservatives, just so you can see which one it is. Depending upon the size of the batch that you want to use is how much of this good stuff you're going to use. I have 4 of these containers, so I'm going to pour in all 4 of these containers, and then I will show you what the process is. So my Instant Pot is plugged in, and it's in a decent spot where I don't mind leaving it for a while. So I like to do my meal prep on the weekends. I have enough free time on the weekends so that I can do this. And it's usually about 3 hours of work, I'd say, maybe sometimes a little more, depending on how complex I get in Danny's dinner. But that 3+ hours of work for me is worthwhile. Setting aside that time and dedicating it means that I have healthy and delicious food to eat for the rest of the week. So you don't have to do a 3 to 4 hour meal prep like I do. I'm an overachiever, but I do recommend, maybe just doing some bulk prepping of your foods. You can, just make some things piecemeal. You can make one big pot of soup, and that can be something that you put on the side of your dinners each week. You can make some grains. You can make some quinoa or some rice. You can roast some vegetables, just so you have, a nice low-calorie, high-nutrient side that you can serve with whatever protein of your choice. I recommend tempeh or beans or some sort of plant-based protein, of course. But, whatever you can do to eat more plant-based, every small step that you take is not just an improvement for your health, but also for the environment and, of course, for the animals as well. All right, so I've got my 4 containers of soy milk poured in here. Let me make sure that's good. I'm going to close the Instant Pot, and I'm going to close the vent just so it heats up a little faster. I'm going to go to the yogurt function, and I can't remember if it's the adjust button or the plus button. It's the adjust button, and I'm going to boil it. So what you want to do is anytime that you're making yogurt, you want to pasteurize whatever your yogurt medium is. In this case, my soy milk. So if there's any little buggies that are living inside of here, we don't want them to grow. We want to culture our yogurt. We want to tell it which beneficial bacteria to grow. So I have it set to boil. I'm going to leave it here The pressure valve is closed, so it's going to heat up faster, and I'm going to let it come to a boil, and that's going to kill off anything that may be living in here. And I'll be back. Okay guys, so my yogurt heated up to 180 degrees and boiled, so it has pasteurized. I'm going to stop it. So the Instant Pot automatically switches over to the yogurt function, but I'm going to open it, and I need to allow the yogurt to cool down to 108 degrees, excuse me, before I add in my yogurt, my yogurt culture. So I'm going to open it up, and it's not under pressure, so I release the pressure valve. And when you open this, any impurities, any bad stuff has boiled and turned into a vapor and has condensed and collected on the top of the lid. So I'm going to carefully open it and not allow as little of that stuff to drip down back into the yogurt. And so you can see all of that moisture has condensed on the lid there. I'm just going to dump it out in the sink. So I'm gonna lift this inner container out of the Instant Pot. I'm gonna put it in my sink. I'm gonna run some cold water around the edge of this pot, making sure that none of the cold water gets in here. And I have a stopper in my sink over there as well. So I'm gonna allow the cold water to fill up until as high as it can once this pot starts floating. So basically, I want to cool this liquid as quickly as possible. And I'm going to use my little thermometer that I have here. I have a little electric thermometer. So I'm just going to stick this inside the pot, and I'll kind of swirl it around, and I'll watch technically this isn't yogurt, I'll watch as this heated pasteurized soy milk cools down to 108 degrees. And I'm going to add my starter culture to this. That way it will grow delicious, wonderful bacteria and create the yogurt for us. So I'll be back in a few minutes after that's done. Okay guys, 107. So it's a good temperature. I'm just kind of testing around different spots to make sure there's no other hot spots. I don't want to kill off my little buggies. All right, it's good. All right, so I placed my 108 or less degree soy milk back in the Instant Pot. So now we need to add cultures. You can buy yogurt cultures online. You can get them in vegan cultures. You can also get some dairy-based cultures. I tried with a vegan culture. I actually tried with some of my probiotic pills when I first started doing this, and it didn't make any yogurt. So that just let me know that those probiotic pills were dead. Most probiotics that you buy are dead. If you don't buy them in a refrigerated form, they've probably died by the time they were made, they were processed, they were put on the shelf in the store. Who knows how long they sat on the shelf in the store? You brought them home. I don't know how long they've sat on the shelf in your house, months, maybe years. So those bacteria are dead, majority of them. So I was really upset the first time that I made it, and I didn't have any other yogurt culture, so I had this, soy milk sitting in the Instant Pot, and I thought to myself, well, I have some other cultured foods, some other fermented foods. Why don't I try using them as the starter? So I had some raw sauerkraut, and I also had some miso paste. So I added a little bit of the water, the juice from the kraut, and just a little bit of broken up miso paste that I broke up in water, and I added that to the pot, and that ended up making some delicious yogurt. And so ever since I started that yogurt, I've always saved a little bit of it, and that's what I use now as my culture. The first 1 or 2 batches did taste a little bit like sauerkraut, I'll be honest. But as that pickle juice, because that's basically what sauerkraut is, it's pickled cabbage, as that liquid kind of got diluted, whatever bacteria I had in here kind of grew, and their flavor doesn't taste like sauerkraut anymore. It tastes very delicious. And so I always save just a small portion of it, and I add that to my next batch of yogurt. And so there's my yogurt, nice and thick. I'm gonna add that here. And I just keep this tucked in the back of my refrigerator for like a week or 2 as I'm eating my current batch of yogurt. And then when I make my next batch, I pull it out of the fridge and I add it. So I'm gonna close my lid again. And I'm gonna select the yogurt function again. And it defaults to whatever the previous time was that you cultured your yogurt at. And so I usually do 24 hours, and so that's what it's on, so that's what it's going to do. It's going to do 24 hours. And it starts counting upward, that way you know how long it's been going. And then once it gets to whatever time you set, it will I don't know if it goes to its keep warm function or if it just stops. That's it. That's all that I need to do to make yogurt. Some of the instructions that I've read online, the first set of instructions that I followed said to ferment for 8 hours. I did that the first time, and the yogurt came out kind of watery. I like a thicker yogurt, so other instructions I've read say 12 hours or 24 hours. I found I like 24 hours. It comes out nice and creamy and thick. So that's why I've selected 24 hours. So it's on its way. It is yogurting. And once it does finish, it switches over to YOGT on here, and it says yogurt, and lets you know that you have yogurt all done. So it's Saturday afternoon right now, evening. So tomorrow, Sunday afternoon, evening, I'm going to have delicious yogurt ready to portion out into my containers for the next week. This is probably gonna last me a week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks. We'll see how many 1.5 cup servings I end up getting. All right, guys, bye. I hope you got a lot of use out of this little demo that I did for yogurt making, and I'll show you whatever recipe I decide to make with this yogurt. I've made chocolate yogurt or vanilla yogurt. I've added fruit, I add nuts, I add chia, I add flax seeds. We'll see what I'm in the mood for tomorrow when I'm doing my meal prep. Bye.